Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Thanks for hanging out with me in the fish room. So I know a lot of you guys are wondering, where the heck have you been, Jason? It's been months and months and months and months since you put out a video. Well, it's not so much life has been crazy, but I've had a bunch of things happen that I never thought would happen that are literally going to change my life and to change my family's life for generations to come. So this video is more about an update for those of you guys who care anything about what's going on in my life. For those of you guys that don't, you probably might want to cut this off right now. I know you're thinking, well, Jason, how are you going to make any money off the video? I'm not worried about making money off the video. I'm worried about letting you guys know what's going on. So let's kind of start from the beginning. So, you know, before I told you that I tore down the fish room at home and that I was rebuilding. And so that's what you see back here behind me. Let's kind of take a look at that. All right, so you see over here, we've got a little bit set up. We've got some breeding of some mystery snails over here. And then everything else was set up to get guppies breeding, like I had talked about in the previous video. Those of you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I have a website where I sell about 30 different strains of high-end guppies at jadrenaquatics.com. Links down below if you want to check that out. So that's what the plan was was to start breeding guppies. So you can see I've got 18 tanks here. Then I slowly started moving my way over here, starting to set up some tanks over here. And you can see I've come to a stop. Over here, we had a few small tanks. I've kind of started tearing these down. We'll get into that. So, what is it that's going into my life that's such a big deal? We better turn the camera around on this one so that we can talk up close and personal. Oh, and no, those tanks there, that's not supposed to be green water. It just turned into green water, which is actually really, really good. My breeder, Sam, he used to use green water all the time to feed his babies. So I just let it turn into green water, and it helps feed the babies and helps them to grow out. But none of that matters, because everything that I've shown you, I'm tearing it all back down again. To get this to an empty garage, tear down the walls, make this thing sellable. Yes, that's the words that I'm telling you guys, sellable. So let's kind of start over so that you can understand. So, my grandmother and my grandfather died, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, something like that. They had a bunch of land that was actually homesteaded by my great-grandfather in a town called Graham, Texas. And when they passed away, all the land went into a trust that goes to myself and my two brothers. And so I never really know, what in the world we were going to do with it. I always kind of thought it'd be cool to move out there, but I never thought it would be anything that would even be remotely possible. Having a business here, that being an hour and a half away, how am I going to move a business? How am I going to sell houses? All that. Well, about a year ago, my brother, who is 59, 58, something like that, he actually retired and he moved out there to Graham. So now he's living out on our land. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting a little bit jealous of him being out there and all the fun that he's having, being able to fish all the time. And so if you're curious, we have about 1,000 acres out there. So it's just endless land. We have about like 8 or 9 tanks. You know what a tank is? You might refer to it as a pond. We call it a tank because its original reason that it's built is to give the water to the cows. But fish eventually get into it. We actually have hunters that pay to come out to our land. So some of them actually try to stock the tanks too because they want to be out there and fish also. All right, I know you're going, Jason, where are you going with this? Well, for those of you who don't know, both of my sons work for me full-time at my printing company. Not at the fish store. The fish store is just kind of a side thing. The printing company is what pays all of the bills. And my youngest son, who still lives with us, but my oldest son is married, and he has a daughter. That's my baby. I mean, my baby. And so I'm never, ever, 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 ever moving away from her. And so that's part of the reason I never thought I'd go to Graham, because I never thought she's ever going to go out there. Now, I knew she would probably want to go out there because she's really crazy into horses. So she's 6. And so, but really it's getting the other family members to go. And the one person that I thought probably would never really want to go would be my daughter-in-law. Her parents live here. She's not big into the country that much, or at least not that much I knew of. And so I just never pushed the issue because I never thought it would actually be something that would happen. Well, about early November, my daughter-in-law was talking to my wife. They hang out all the time, and she tells my wife, hey, I'm ready to move to Graham. My wife tells me it. I have a small heart attack. I can't believe this is actually being said. So for the first time ever, I began to do research trying to find out, can we move there? Can this actually all happen? Can we move a business? How many customers am I going to lose? I got to talk to all these customers to find out, will they still use us even though they're out there? We'll instead of the normal deliveries, we'll ship to them. And then probably twice a month, I'll still have to drive back here because I've got some bigger customers. But again, it's only about an hour and a half. It's not really that big of a deal. Now, I don't want to work here and have to drive back, or work here and live out there and drive back and forth. So started asking a lot of questions, started praying about all of it, thinking, you know, I gotta make sure this is the right decision. And everything just began to add up and add up and add up, and all these prayers are answered, and just blessing after blessing after blessing. And talked to tons of customers, and everyone was okay with us moving out there and working out. So the first thing we needed to do then was try to see if we could actually find a buyer for the building that our print shop is in and the land. Because if we can't get that done, then what's the point? And so luckily 20-something years ago, the people that lived next door to us had made a comment to us about buying our building because they had bought some property from us that was behind us, so that they expanded on. So I reached out to him, and lo and behold, he not only was interested, he came by the next day and made me a cash offer for it all. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, I'm thinking like a year from now we'll be able to move. But no, like, he wants to buy it because he wants to use the money to go on this year's taxes. So he's wanting to move this along in a hurry. So not only did this start the ball rolling, this sent us on a rocket ship towards it. So I'll leave out all the other details, but we are moving to Graham. We're moving the print shop out there. We're going to move the fish business out there. I'm going to continue on doing as I was before, but instead of going out and picking up my fish from my breeder like I do now, I'm just going to have him shipped to me every single week. So instead of our normal shipping where we do like Mondays and Tuesdays, we'll probably ship mostly Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'll start stocking more of his fish than I used to, but the main thing I got to find out is how well do the fish actually do in the water out there, because obviously I don't really know. It's not well water, it's actually city water. But we're actually going to live and have the building, because they literally have already bulldozed and cleaned a place for where the building is going to go, and it's down a dirt road off the highway, and I'm so excited to get out there. I mean, so excited. Again, never thought this would ever happen. I just can't believe this is actually happening. Part of the reason for me is, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am so tired of driving out on the road. We live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and just how rude people are and how people cut you off, and people are driving like maniacs, and everyone's texting and driving. Like, I want to get away from there. I want to get my granddaughter away from there. I want to get my sons and stuff away from there. So when I say generational changing, that's what I mean. We're all moving out there, and we're all excited about it. And so the next generations are going to keep growing up out there in this little small town, and I couldn't be more excited about it. All right, so that's 10 minutes of me rambling about this, and I know I probably lost most of you way back when, but I wanted to give you guys an update so you guys would know what's going on. And the plan is to move We'd love to do it mid-March if the building's done. This is all whether or not the building's being done. The guy's gonna let us stay at the print shop until April, and if we go past April, we're gonna have to pay rent to stay there. But we'd like to get everything done and moved in mid-March is what we are shooting for. So my stress level is about up here because I got to sell 2 houses. I got to pack everything up. I got to move an entire print shop that has been in the same location for almost 40 years. So you can imagine what we've accrued. So I got a lot to deal with, but the other side of when we come out of this, it's gonna be so worth it. So thank you guys so much for being patient with me. You can imagine once we get out there, look at me, I'm just going and going and going. I'm just excited. When we get out there, it's not just gonna be Jadren Aquatics. It's gonna be a farm where we're gonna have goats and chickens and ostriches and whatever else you can imagine. We have all this land to do all this stuff, so we're gonna do a lot of cool things. So the channel is probably gonna morph into something even totally different that's gonna be more family oriented, with my wife doing stuff and the kids doing stuff and my granddaughter doing stuff, and I'm excited. And I'm excited that you guys might want to come along for the journey. So thanks again, guys. You got any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below. So thanks again, guys, and God bless.